Hey everybody, it's Kathy Bosco from Rethink.fm, the forward-thinking podcast about experience design. Join me and special guests to discuss effective design, technology, and the intersection of helping people and entrepreneurship. From user experience research to product roadmaps, we've got you covered. We've all got questions, so let's get started. Today, my special guest is Carmelina Piedra. She is from careercoachingpro.com, and we're going to be talking about career planning, career searches when you're looking for a new role, how to work with a group, a network, or have one-on-one to coaching plans. Carmelina offers a lot of services, and she has a lot of experience to share. So let's get started. Welcome, Carmelina. I'm so happy to have this conversation with you about all of the amazing work you're doing for your clients and for businesses. Would you mind kicking things off by telling us a little bit about yourself and your work?
Sure. Thank you so much for the opportunity, Kathy. It's great to be here with you today. I would love to share more about what I do to help my clients. So I do work with individuals, those that need jobs, and also those that are looking for career development coaching. And I also help businesses. So I work with businesses to help address workshops and facilitation needs and upscaling and rescaling through investing and retaining. And I also help out with redeployment as well. I do work for Mural and I do teach human-centered design thinking to organizations through Mural. And I also help coaches to grow and start their businesses.
Wow. Yeah, I've been fortunate to get to work with you as a career coach when I unexpectedly needed a new role. And I think I was surprised I needed a career coach. My career is a little different. I ran an agency for a while. I got into roles and jobs kind of in unconventional ways without the application process. So applying for roles is really different than doing the work in those roles. And it's really helpful to have someone who's objective with resources who can help you build that structure to be a successful interviewer and networker. So full disclosure, I've benefited from your services and I appreciate it. Um, I wanted to talk a little bit about the types of clients you work with, because you work with a broad range of people
Yes.
from individuals to businesses. Could you talk a little bit about who your services are for?
Sure. Yeah, thank you for the question, Kathy. And I'm so glad I was able to help support you in your journey.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I think most people think career coaching, they think job seeking. And I would say a huge percent of my clients do need those services in job seeking and they're looking for a new role. What makes me different from other coaches, one, I'm certified, I can help anyone in any field, but also I like to help people find their niche. So figure out exactly what it is that they want to do based on their strengths and weaknesses, and then use that as a foundation for everything else that we do in the job search, whether it's resume, LinkedIn profiles, applying and networking. You mentioned that earlier. Many people are spending a lot of time applying, but that's only 10% of a job search. Networking is actually 70 to 80% success. So we spend a lot of time on that, as you know. And then I help out with interview and role play assistance and then cover letters as well and negotiating the offer. So it is a full suite of services that I can help with. I also help with portfolios, which I know I helped you with as well, right? And telling the story about your background, what it is that you do, but also storytelling within those case studies that are really, really important for interviewing.
Yeah. Yeah, those case studies were critical for me. I'm so used to presenting for end users or advocating for human experience, but to advocate for myself was very different. I think going through and rebuilding your case studies also makes you more competent and articulate when you're in conversation talking about promoting yourself. And it just takes time and practice, and you
Yeah.
want to be excellent at it right away. And maybe some of these theater majors, they are, but the rest of us struggle a little bit. Yeah, that's interesting. And What percentage would you say of your work, if you could put it in a percentage, is for people proactively working on their careers and making changes and planning for the future
Yes.
versus people reactively having to scramble due to an unexpected layoff or
Yes.
a change
Yes.
in their family structure?
I would say 25% is jobs. I'm sorry, 25% are folks that are looking for career development coaching, meaning I'm trying to be actively seeking advice on how I can better myself in my current role, versus 50%, I would say, is more so the job seeker. And then the other 25%, I would say, is split between businesses and also coaches. So, just to kind of break that down for you a little bit more.
Oh, thanks. And can you talk a little bit about how you support businesses and other coaches?
Yeah, thanks for the question. So, as far as businesses go, I do help people with workshops and facilitation. I'm a certified facilitator. So, a lot of what I do and a lot of my past 25 years of experience in research and strategy has been helping people uncover problem areas for employees and customers to make sure that we're solving the right problems through workshops. Also, tackling the right problems through strategic planning and defining clear actions in a collaborative setting. Sometimes it's great to bring in a third party who's unbiased about the certain situation to help people gain alignment and work through a problem with a certified facilitator. So that's just one area. Another is to invest and retain in your actual employees. And so that is a service where I can help everyone to build and empower teams, individuals, by doing a culture audit. So, utilizing employee state interviews to prevent people from leaving their jobs. Also, creating business transformation and change management strategies to operate efficiently. And that's including but not limited to human centered design and agile practices within organizations. And I can also help develop instructional design courses and curriculum to enhance team health. I do a lot of that with individuals as well. As far as redeployment services, there are a lot of people reorganizing due to AI. And so I can actually help organizations define a reorganization strategy to streamline efficiencies and profits, and outline role and responsibilities to help aid in career transitions. So when there is the need for a reorg, instead of laying people off, I can help define what that reorganization structure might look like and where people that are currently in organizations, where they might fall best in other positions within organizations.
All right. I had no idea you were doing that kind of work behind the scenes. I'm glad we're having this conversation. Um, Speaking of AI, uh, what are you seeing from your perspective? And you have a unique seat where you're seeing what people's skill sets are, what they're ramping up on in terms of knowledge, where they're stress. Are they fearful that they're falling behind? Do they recognize that we're in a hype cycle? Like, what are you seeing behind the scenes?
I actually just had a potential client come to me just the other day asking, I really have not embraced an AI, and is that going to impact my job search? So there's a couple of different ways to think about it. One is I do recommend ways to use AI to be more efficient in a job search. However, as far as learning about AI for new roles for potential folks moving forward, I do think it's important to, at the very least, just be open-minded about the idea. It is something that is going to be necessary as far as efficiencies. Companies now want to start using it more to help them be more efficient and streamline the process. It will not take away all of our jobs, right? I mean, I think the more we can be more strategic in our thinking, the better. I think some of the automation that's happening within organizations, like whether or not you have tons of data, you need to automate some of the output and insights of that data. AI could be used for that. But it's not going to take over some of those discussions that we might need to have, or alignment with groups to align on ways forward in our strategic planning, as one example. So I do think that we should be open-minded about it. We can learn about it. There's tons of free classes out there right now. So I do believe everyone should just try at the very least to be open-minded, take a few classes just to get a good sense. And as far as the job search goes, there's definitely areas where we can use it to be more effective. But places like the application process, so many people that come to me really want to use that and perfect the ATS system, like almost beat the bot in some way in order to get your resume seen in front of these organizations. But that's actually not the best strategy. Networking is really, a much, much better, you're going to have a much better outcome with networking than you would applying anyway. So there's a lot of these things that I talk to, my clients about as far as do I need to learn about it and how can I utilize it for my job search?
Yeah, and it's kind of specific to the role you're going to be taking on or trying to achieve as well.
Yes,
If you're
yes,
a software engineer, that's very different than someone who might be working in finance in the collections department, right? So,
yes,
right. That's interesting. I used AI in my job search to my former boss told me about a tool where you could upload your job description that you were going to apply for and your resume, and it would make these
yes.
questions, and it would record you answering it. I'll put the link in the show notes. I think it's Interview AI or something, but I'll find
Okay.
the link and put it in the show notes. But the great thing was about it when you record your first run through answering the question and you're fumbling around, you're like, oh, I'm glad I'm doing this because I'm not as prepared as I thought I was. And
Yeah.
then it gives you feedback on how to improve based on what's in your resume. So you're like,
Nice.
oh, right, I can use those outcomes I achieved on this one project to illustrate this. And it was helpful in that way for
Absolutely.
me to practice.
Yeah, I think a coach can definitely give you strategies that will help you in role play as far as interviewing. But the
Mhm.
goal is to really practice as much as you can. Whether it's an accountability partner, I have a job seeking cohort where I pair you up with somebody else in the program to practice, or some of these other tools where you can practice as well.
Right. And you work with groups and your groups help each other. Like people are going through
Yes.
cohorts and they can build their case studies or portfolios together and pair up.
Yes.
I think that's a really valuable part of your program. How does that work exactly? How do you join a group?
Yeah, so there are two different ways to get job seeking assistance with me. The first is one-on-one personalized coaching. And the other is a job seeking cohort, which allows you to be more in a group. So I actually had two clients, they were twins, and one did the one on one, and one went through the job seeking cohort, and both of them got jobs within a few weeks' time. So
Wow.
that was kind of like a really good AP or an A/B test on, which program might work better for, two people that are very, very similar. And it really just depends on how you like to learn. So some people, I really want to meet with you one on one. I get distracted by groups. I don't do well in groups. Some people do amazingly in groups and they want that extra support where I can pair up with people and practice, etc. So it's really just dependent on how you like to learn and what your learning style is and what would work better for you. But yes, I do have the two different programs.
That's really useful. I think um, with networking and people saying, "Hey, I heard about this role opening up, and I thought of you," or we're in this together," and helping each other
Yeah,
with that. The cohorts make a lot of sense there because you might not be looking for the exact same job in a field, but you're going through and searching for opportunities, and you can build your network through a group too if that's something that you need to do. That really increases your chances of getting hired and successfully interviewing, I think.
absolutely. And I have a Slack channel community with over 400 of my clients now, many of which were looking for jobs. It's a great supportive community. Once you start coaching, you'll be able to get into that Slack channel community. And so I have clients, like you mentioned, that, it's not exactly the right fit for them, but they want to share this job and they want to share this opening. And so they do that on the Slack channel. So everyone is helping each other and it's a great supportive community. Also on LinkedIn, I'm always liking posts that come my way. I have over 19,000 connections now on LinkedIn. And
Oh, wow.
so I see a lot of job openings. So, my network also yields a lot of opportunities for my clients as well.
That's true. That's very true. I've experienced that. That's a lot of contacts on LinkedIn. That's incredible.
Thank you.
Yeah. So you've got something new happening with coaching for coaches.
Yes, thank you
What's
for
going
asking.
on?
Yeah. So my newest venture is called My Growth Hub, and it is a spin-off of the coaching that I've been offering for individuals and businesses. So My Growth Hub is going to be a platform where coaches can come onto the platform and get assistance on starting and growing their businesses. And I do work one-on-one with coaches as well. But I found that if I have a platform where people can come in and get support from not just me as a career coach, but other coaches. So, life coaches, health coaches, relationship coaches, a variety of different kinds of coaches, finance coaches, they would be able to come into the platform and get support that they need for their particular niche. On the career side, can only help career coaches, but I'm going to open that up to all of these other types of coaching so that any kind of coach that's starting a business or growing a business can get assistance on starting and growing with their what we're calling a superstar coach.
All right.
Yeah.
Very exciting. That's a very interesting expansion, and intellectually it must be very fulfilling to get to experience all those different areas of uh topics and teachings.
Thank you. Yeah, I think for me, the reason why I started this idea is one, I wanted to share everything that I learned about coaching because I did it all on my own, right? I grew. It's been 5 years now since I started my business, and I wanted to share everything that I learned with everyone so that they can be successful as well. The other reason why I wanted to start is because I felt that if I was helping other coaches, I essentially can help more people be successful. Right
Mhm.
now, with career coaching, I'm able to help many people, right? But if I expand to help coaches grow, essentially I end up helping their clients as well in the end. So I'm able to help more and more people in that ecosystem, which, I'm really, really excited about.
It's a lot of amplification. I love it. I love it. When you're working with people who they're employed, but they're thinking more longer term about their career goals and objectives and their professional growth, what are some of the things that you tell them that they should have in place? Like I'm looking back in my career and I have regrets.
Yeah.
I regret not having like a decision log. All of the decisions are research impacted. I wish I had logged it. I'm logging it now.
Mm-hmm.
Things
Yes.
like that. Can
Yes.
you give a few
Yes.
tips for people who want to be
Absolutely.
proactive?
I always tell my clients that today is the day you're going to start to collect metrics and outcomes of your work. Do not let anyone else do that for you, meaning a product manager or your manager or whomever it is that you're working closely with, because you might end up leaving and then you're not in charge of your outcomes. And those outcomes not only will help you in your job to get promoted, right? Because you're talking with stakeholders, you're presenting the benefits of the work that you've done. It will help with performance. It will help with career development laddering and promoting and actually getting promoted. But in addition to that, it also helps when you are talking about your work in these interviews because you will have outcome statements to share in your resume, your LinkedIn, and your interviews. So, this is, I believe, the most critical piece to success in career development along the way.
And I think in product, which is where I work, in product, it's good for the individuals, it's good for the team to have, it's good for the organization anyway. So we shouldn't be rushing through not measuring our outcomes as professionals. Like we get so rushed to ship, or not follow up and measure the impact we made or didn't make. Sometimes the impact that we fail to make is more interesting case study than the impact to make it. Like there are
Yes.
AI tools and experiences being shipped which are going to fail. And that
Yes,
will be an interesting
absolutely.
case study. Why? Well, we didn't have the business cases for these really defined. We didn't know how much it was going to cost to
Yes,
operationalize this for weeks. And those can be really helpful too, and a differentiator when you're interviewing. So yeah, I agree.
absolutely. Yeah. And I think most people do not advocate for themselves. And I don't know if you know this, Kathy, but about 70 to 80% of managers are not trained as managers.
Right.
And they're just promoted as a manager because that's the only way up for most organizations. But that doesn't mean that they're a good manager and that they should be managing, right? And companies, unfortunately, don't train people to be managers. Not everyone is supposed to be a manager in their career. Maybe they're just an IC, an independent contributor or an individual contributor, and they're not really meant to manage people. And so, what I tell my clients that are getting career development coaching as well is that it's really important to make sure that you're advocating for yourself, and you're having the conversations with your manager. If your manager doesn't know how to help you with career growth, it's really up to you to make sure that you're having those conversations. And I can definitely help clients to come up with a business case and career laddering discussions that you're having with your manager so that you're setting yourself up for success in the next 1, 3, 5 years. The number one reason why people leave organizations is because they're not getting career development assistance and growth. And so if you're able to have those conversations with your manager, who might be great, but just not a great manager, you might get promoted faster and you might not have to leave and look for another job. And then, unfortunately, in 6 months to a year, you've lost your seniority and now suddenly you're getting laid off. So, I think that this is also another big key piece that people just miss because they
Yeah.
don't want to speak up, they don't want to self advocate.
Yeah, yeah, I think you're right. I remember being in real life in a workshop in Chattanooga with Jared Spool one time, and they did this, we did this think, write, share exercise where you say, what was the worst job you ever had? Write it down, think about it, and then tell the person next to you what it was and communicate, share that. And then the next thing we did was write down the best job you ever had, your most favorite job you've ever had. Write it down, talk about it with the person next to you. And in the end, the jobs that people enjoyed were the jobs where they had a lot of professional growth and learning. And
Yes.
that was it, hands down.
Yeah,
So I think organizations that get that right retain talent, and they're just more
absolutely.
successful and cohesive places to work as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that attrition is actually very, very expensive. If people leave organizations, you have to rehire. There's time involved with that. There's knowledge transfer that you're not going to get because that person is no longer there. So organizations really need to kind of step up their game in this area and make sure that people are happy. That is definitely one thing that I do offer on the business side is to help people with their employees to make sure that they're not going to leave because in the end that it's just dollars spent on hiring somebody new and getting them onboarded and it takes months to get them back to where that person was before they left.
That's very costly. That's a great call out, right?
Yeah.
Well, let me look. I have some more questions on my little cheat sheet here. Um, I think you've covered quite a few of them. Um, you've spoken about how you work with each scenario of clients and expanding into coaching. Um,
Hmm.
are there any other resources you'd like to recommend or um,
Yeah, absolutely. On my website, which is careercoachingpro.com, there are tons of Forbes articles that I've written, and you can find that under the blog section. I do write for Forbes, so there's tons and tons of resources there. Also, there are some speaking engagements that I've done in the past under the events section. If you go to the events section, you can go to speaking engagements. I also had a conference in 2018 where a lot of authors came to this conference that I hosted. And that will also give people more information about, the fields of tech and product. But also those Forbes articles will help anyone in any field. So just some resources there
That's
for
great.
all
And
of
the
you.
website is careercoachingpro.com. And we'll put links in
Yes.
the show notes as well.
Thank you.
Careercoachingpro.com. And to wrap things up, I'd love to ask you to speak a little bit about how people can choose the right coach. How there's it when you go through, especially if you
Yeah.
unexpectedly are looking for a new opportunity, it just seems like flies coming in every which direction, trying to tell you
Yeah.
how to do it, who to work with. How
Sure.
do you maintain, is it through referrals or what do you recommend for
Yes.
people? Because you can get
Yeah.
a lot of bad advice.
Absolutely, Kathy. Thank you so much for mentioning that. I would say the first thing is to make sure that they're certified, right? There are a lot of coaches out there that just are not certified and they haven't gone through the proper training. The second thing is to make sure that you're looking at recommendations from prior clients and make sure that those coaches can provide you data to support that they're actually helping people. On my website, under the reviews tab, there are tons of reviews. There are videos from my clients, but also on my LinkedIn profile at the very bottom in the recommendations section, I have close to 100 clients that I've helped, even in this market, get jobs within a few weeks' time. And so those recommendations are there for people to look at and make sure that whoever you're working with has data to support that they're actually helping. In my case, I also offer, and I'm not sure you know this, Kathy, a free program for those that have been impacted by layoff or unemployed. So I do have one-on-one that is paid for up front, but I also have a job seeking cohort that is free until you receive an offer. And so if people are struggling to work with a coach because they can't afford it, I created another program for groups where you can get assistance and you can pay back once you receive an offer. So there's really no risk.
That is
So,
huge. That is just such um, a huge thing because you're scared to spend money if your income gets shut immediately. So
yes.
that is great. I'll be sure to link to that as well in the show notes.
Okay. Thank
Um,
you.
yeah, I did not know that. That's wonderful.
Yeah, I just started the program because what I realized is that so many people that are looking for work can't afford it. And my goal as a coach is to help as many people as I can. That's truly why I gave up my director level role, because I just wanted to be able to help more people. And so by giving this program for free, you'll join a group, and in that case, you can get the services that you need, and then you can pay back once you have income coming in again.
Oh, that's amazing. That's great. And I think when you pay for professional support with your career, whether it's planning or you unexpectedly have to do a job search, it pays for itself. Like that first paycheck's going to cover the cost of it.
Yeah.
It maybe the first or second, depending on what you're doing, but it really does pay for itself. So I want to put
Yes.
that out there because you get
Yeah.
a job faster, get a
Yes.
job more confidently,
Yes.
and it really increases the chances of you managing your network better.
Yes.
So, yeah, I've
Yeah.
met some great people through your program, and
Oh,
yeah, I think that's
thank you.
great.
Yeah, and thank you for mentioning that too, because when you work with a coach, you also make more money. It's faster. You find it faster. But with the negotiation skills that I can provide and strategies, you'll also make more. So that investment, as you mentioned, the programs pay for themselves, even if you pay up front and you go through the one-on-one coaching.
Yeah, that's very, very true. I can testify to that. It does make a huge difference. So,
Thank you,
well,
Kathy. That's so
yeah.
sweet of you.
Well, thank you for joining and pulling back the curtain a little bit here to talk about the work that you're doing, the expanding work that you're doing. And I just I really appreciated what you did for me, and I hope
Um,
you can help others. Even I know that you're North Star, but thank you so much. Keep up the really hard work that you do for people.
aw.
It's really appreciated.
Thank you so much, and thank you for the opportunity to have me on today. This is a real honor, Kathy.
Sure, my pleasure. We'll talk again soon.
Okay,
Okay. Bye.
bye.